Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Third Wave Trades. Today's video, we got GameStop, ticker symbol GME, and I also want to show you guys Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. Tesla has been on a crazy run for the past week, and it's actually something that I saw coming. Unfortunately, I just couldn't make a video on it, as I've been doing my videos whenever I get a chance on GameStop. But the reason why I want to show you guys Tesla is because it actually just broke out of an accumulation channel, and that's exactly what I see happening with GameStop. Now, it's one of those plays where I kind of want to kick myself for exiting it because I was in the Tesla play. I did a swing trade on it last week when it was at 190. It broke out, and I had calls for 200. I sold by I think it was Thursday, took my profit and I put it back into GameStop. And it's just one of those things where, like I said, I feel like kicking myself for it because obviously the run up has been crazy. But it's something similar which is happening with GameStop. Now that was a reaccumulation, as we will see. This is an accumulation, a very long, drawn out accumulation on GameStop. But if GameStop gets the breakout from the accumulation channel, I think it has a chance to run more than what we even saw with Tesla, right? And that's kind of the reason why I pulled out of Tesla to go into GameStop. I thought I saw the breakout coming. It was a little premature. And so, it is what it is. But I want to show you guys that, and I want you guys to compare it with what we see in GameStop based off the Wyckoff accumulation or reaccumulation schematic. All right, so we'll take a look at both of those stocks. The day basically closed. GameStop had a nice little bounce, but the problem is that we're missing volume, right? And so hopefully that comes in on Friday or next week. It's definitely close. It's nearing. It's just very frustrating to trade it because it's pretty much ripe to run, and the volume is just not coming in, which is the only thing that, in my opinion, from a technical analysis standpoint, is what's holding the stock back, the lack of buying volume. At this point, I do think sellers are exhausted and buyers just need to step in. So let's just take a look at it. I'm not going to go over the entire GameStop scenario again, but I'm going to kind of just go over it from the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So here we are, because then I want you guys to take a look at it and compare it to the move that Tesla just made. But before we get started, guys, actually, if you guys could do me a favor and just hit the like button, that would really help a lot. Helps with the algorithm, helps to get more views out there for the channel, so we can try to build this community a little bit. And then if you're new here and you aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. We go over a bunch of different stocks. Lately, I've been focusing on GameStop, but there's other stocks that I am looking at and I will be making videos on soon, such as Palantir, Tesla. I'll do a complete analysis on Tesla, and some of the Bitcoin mining stocks as well, Mara, Riot, and whatever suggestions you guys have, right? So we go over stocks with technical analysis using things like Elliott wave theory, Wyckoff schematics, stage analysis, and other forms of technical analysis. So if you guys are interested in that, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification icon so you guys can get updates to all my videos as soon as they are out. And with that being said, let's just move on. All right, guys, so this is what we're looking at with the accumulation channel that we've been in for a while now. We had our phase A over here, which is basically the stop of the downtrend and the change of character. And then we had this the phase B, which is basically a series of tests, right, between buyers and sellers to see who's in control. I had this marked off as a potential spring, and it could have been, right, because we had all this diminishing volume. We basically got a spring move outside of the channel, and we had a strong bounce back, which is what you look to see after a spring move that took us to the top of the channel. but instead, buyers were not able to break out of the channel to the upside. The last video I did, we actually were around here, and I was still thinking that this could have been just a sign of strength. This could have been our last point of support, right? In phase D, and then we would get the breakout this week with volume coming in. But sellers had a different plan in mind, and they made another attempt to push us back down to the bottom of the channel, which is essentially what Wyckoff is, right? It's not really a formula of first touches this point once, touches the lows here, then the top, then it's not like that. It's not so formulaic. You have to really understand the concepts of what's going on between buyers and sellers, right? It's a dynamic that they're essentially fighting to see who's in control of this range. There are some things that kind of give hints that this is an accumulation and eventually buyers are going to win. And one of them is the diminishing volume that has been here since we've been in this channel. So all it is that sellers made another attempt on Monday to push us down to the bottom and to get us to sell, to get buyers to sell or get the dumb money to sell. And then they probably went long themselves, right? So essentially this thing is going to run once all the supply is completely exhausted, and people who were either short before or new traders are going to come in, new institutions who are going to get ready to go long, and once they are ready, they're going to let this thing rip. That's basically how it works in an accumulation schematic, right? Once all supply is exhausted, then buyers will come in. Now, this was a great reaction once they pushed us over here, and now this is our potential spring. The reaction was, it's exactly what you wanted to see. We came right back into the channel, right? From this low, we came right back into the channel, came back, retested inside the channel, and then we bounced again. Now, the only thing, again, that this move is lacking is volume, right? If we are correct and this is an accumulation, the one thing that we would want to see after that spring move is bigger size candles, something like this actually, which is why I was under the impression that we had the spring already, because you want to see big candles like that followed by large volume, right? So we're getting the move up here, but we're just not getting the volume to come with it. So that's somewhat concerning, or it gives room for it leaves a little bit of room for doubt as to whether or not this is going to happen, because theoretically this whole process can continue for as long as buyers and sellers want, right? They'll just keep fighting, and we'll keep accumulating within this range for a while until one side really decides to take control. Now, I like I said, I think sellers are exhausted. The diminishing volume kind of shows that. And this move back to the upside, which would put us in our phase D, which should see us get to the top of this channel and potentially even break out of the channel. It usually will be accompanied with strong volume, but it can occur with less volume, and that usually happens when supply is completely exhausted, that the volume is just not coming in from the seller side. So buyers will slowly just make their way to the top of the channel, and it'll just be slower and drawn out. And then potentially once we break out of the channel, or we break out and then we come back and retest, somewhere around here is where we'll get the volume, right? Because once you break out of phase D, then once you get to phase E, that's kind of like when you get into the real heart of the uptrend move, right? But it all starts back down here in the spring. So that's really where we stand right now. This has been going on for more than a month, which tells me it is sellers really don't want to let this thing fly, so they keep shorting it as much as they can. And I don't know, maybe buyers are just hesitant to get in at this moment. Maybe they're looking for a stronger level to get to get into, but that's really what we need to see. We need to see us get to the top of this channel, which is around $26.73. So we'll say roughly $27. We need to break that channel, and once you see the volume come in, I'm fairly certain that volume will be buying volume that will take us out of this channel. So that's where we stand with GameStop right now. If we look at this, if that was the spring basically move on Monday, and this is our new low, then this is the bottom of our larger degree second wave that we talked about from an Elliott wave perspective. And then this would be our first wave, right? So come Friday, because the markets are closed tomorrow, so we had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come Friday, we could be seeing like a pullback back down to like the lower end of this range, and then we get the third wave move, right? If I zoom in on that a little bit, I can kind of show you guys that on a smaller time frame. I was kind of looking at this as potentially being a 1-2 scenario, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. But today was just, honestly, it was really disappointing. It looked like it was going to get a strong start, but because then this could have been a massive third wave, which would have aligned with where we are in the Wyckoff schematic. So didn't happen. So what it looks like is that this whole thing is our first wave, right? Made up of 5 waves as a leading diagonal. And then this would be a wave, B wave, and we'll probably get like a C wave, something kind of like a flat. And then we can start the third wave of this move, which would potentially take us out of the channel. I don't know if it'll happen Friday. Friday could just be this whole move slowly drawn out, right? It's low volume, just taking us all the way back down to 23. And because usually, Friday there's not that much buying there's not that much trading going on. It's usually right before the weekend, and we're going to be coming off of July 4th weekend. So who knows? We'll see if there's going to be volume there, but that's essentially what we need. We're going to need the volume to take us higher. All right, so now the reason why I'm bringing up the accumulation schematic more so than anything, once we do get this breakout, then I'm going to be analyzing the uptrend in terms of an Elliott wave move. It should be a large impulsive third wave move, right? So if I zoom out again let's go to a 4-hour chart. In terms of the Elliott wave, once we get that breakout, I know we're starting the third wave of this green move, right? So we have this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we should get the third wave of this, which would be 161% of this move, right? So at a minimum, if it is in fact a third wave. But we could get into projections and stuff in another video once we actually get the breakout. But if we do get the breakout and we start this impulsive third wave rally, I would be looking for this stock to go to $103. And it sounds far-fetched, but that's it's pretty standard Elliott wave move, right? It could actually go a lot more than that, because it would be the third wave of 1-2, 1-2 scenario. So usually those are more impulsive. Those can go up to like 2.618. I have marked on the chart this fair value gap, because the other potential is that instead of this being a 1, 2, 3 right away, this also becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2 scenario, right? And then you get the third wave. So I think a safe target is that fair value gap around $50 to $60, but we're just gonna have to wait and see once that impulsive rally starts. All right, guys, so now let's take a look at Tesla. And just really quickly, I will mention that Tesla was something that I was looking at a lot last year. I was trading it a lot last year. I did fairly well on it. And I'm going to go over a full scenario on what Tesla's overall wave count is and where I think it stands. But for today's video, I really just want to focus on the accumulation. But I will point out a couple things here. Right, so this was the beginning of January 2023, and this was where we were kind of getting out of this long, drawn-out retracement. So when I was observing it last year, I took this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. I actually traded this move looking for a third wave move. Finished a little bit shorter. I made a decent amount on it, but my analysis basically told me that this was going to be a 1-2-1-2, and then we would get the third wave, and that's not what played out. Unfortunately, this has been a much longer. This became a much longer type of retracement, right? So it kind of just tells me that the overall picture that I had, that this was the bottom of a second wave, and then we were starting a large third wave rally, was ultimately incorrect. So then there was the other scenarios that I had, and again, I'm going to get into all of this when I do my complete Tesla video. But essentially what I think we have playing out right now is an A, B, C, and then this would be another A, B, and C, and then we will get probably another pullback one more time before we actually start to rally. But we'll go over all of that in another video. But you guys can see some things over here. This is a weekly chart. This is where we stand for the week. Strong volume, considering that this is a shortened week, and we broke above this 30-week moving average. Stage analysis tells you that that's the beginning of a large uptrend, right? So keep an eye on Tesla. Obviously, all eyes are on Tesla right now. It's up $50 for the week, roughly. But I think this is just the beginning of a strong rally that is going to probably take us past $300. But we'll get into all of that. So really what I want to show you guys is this. So starting from this move right here, right? Once this move happened, that's when I started paying attention. Why? Because when you have a strong rally or a wave, in Elliott wave, right, it never exists in a vacuum. It's always accompanied by other waves, right? So once we kind of started accumulating out, I knew that another wave would come. So if we look at that, that's basically from this point on, and you guys can see how I have it broken up into this accumulation channel, right? So the lows were here on April 22nd, 24th, something around that, and we had the strong rally. Basically within 5 days we went from $140 to $200, right? Then this pullback, and then we were kind of just trading sideways. So we were consolidating, and the question was it going to be a reaccumulation or a distribution? And you guys can see it's the same phases that we've been going over in GameStop, right? So phase A, you have the change of character, right? Over here you have an automatic reaction, secondary test in phase B. And this was when the accumulation schematic plays out as it should, and it plays out quick and nice. Like, these are the kind of moves that you can get. So phase B, we had one secondary test as a sign of strength to the top side, had this little creek over here. Actually, you know what, let me put it like this because it'll make it easier to see. Let's just change that color. All right. All right, so we had secondary test, we had this creek and everything, and we got our spring move towards the bottom end of the channel. You guys can see throughout this period of accumulation, it was roughly low volume throughout, and then once we got to the spring, that's where the volume picked up, right? And then in phase D, after the breakout, we had that consolidation towards the top of the channel, and then the breakout came, and you guys know what happened next, all of this, right? So that's a reaccumulation as opposed to an accumulation schematic, but it's roughly the same process playing out. You have a change of character, you have both sides contesting, buyers and sellers contesting for who's in control. You have your fake out move, which is basically your false break, your spring in this case. And then in phase D, you have your sign of strength, consolidation at the top of the channel. And phase E is basically where the uptrend begins. And you guys can see that over here. This is a perfect, almost perfect scenario. Slight differences, but the idea is exactly the same. This is a reaccumulation schematic, and it played out exactly this way, right? You had your up move, your phase B, kind of consolidation and tests. Over here, phase C, you don't get that deep of a spring, because it actually shows buyers are a lot stronger. And then you have your move to the top side in phase D, consolidation, and phase E, the real uptrend begins, right? So picture perfect reaccumulation schematic. So taking it back to GameStop, that's, again, if we can get something similar going on over there, if we can break out to the top of this channel in phase D, we're looking to make this large massive rally will happen, in my opinion, right? The volume will come in. You guys can see the volume again is low as we're accumulating, but once it starts to pick up, buyers will take this back to the fair value gap at least, and potentially a lot higher, like I said, to $103. If we're using the Elliott wave and Fibonacci levels. And so really that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys with Tesla. Like I said, I'm going to do a complete video. I've been following it. Like I said, I wanted to kick myself because I was in the play and I got out to get into GameStop because I thought it would be a better return for me. And it's, it is what it is. You can't win them all. But it does give me a bit of confidence because this played out exactly how I was imagining it to play out. So I still remain confident in the GameStop play as well. You guys can see over here, once we got the breakout, I actually I got the wave count on it. This kind of needs to be updated. I didn't update it today, but this is a massive 1 2 1 2 3 move, right? Like this is potentially going to be, it's already past the 1-to-1 level. So Tesla is definitely going a lot higher, right? So it's getting close to that 1.382. Once we get past that 1.618 level, so $265 is something that this can easily touch before maybe it starts a little bit of a retracement. That would make this a first wave, second wave, third wave. You would look to get a fourth and a fifth. And there will be future trading opportunities on this, right? Because eventually this is going to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The retracement will come, and then there will be another buying opportunity a little bit down the road, probably in a couple of months, once this thing plays out. So we'll be here for that. We'll take a look at Tesla. Like I said, I'm going to do a complete video on it, and we'll keep an eye on it, and keep an eye on GameStop as well. All right, guys, so that's really all I got for today. I hope that helped some of you guys understand basically what I'm looking at in terms of what I really expect GameStop to do. It's exactly what Tesla did here, right? Broke out of the accumulation channel and just went on this massive uptrend once the volume kicked in, right? So again, you guys can see here is the volume. That's exactly what we need to see from GameStop, and this is the exact same result that we will get. Might even be more impulsive. All right, but again, guys, that's all I got. If you guys liked the video, you guys found it entertaining, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And whatever videos you guys want to see, any suggestions you guys have on different stocks and tickers, let me know, and I will try to get those to you. I'm going to be uploading a lot more. Just really haven't had the time so much. Otherwise, I would have loved to make this Tesla video a week ago for you guys. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will be back with more. Peace.